Stop dating cheap, guys. Is he showing you the cheapest menu option saying that's the most delicious? Is he counting how many drinks you have? Is he not willing to send you an Uber when you're coming over to his place? Let me clarify, there's nothing wrong in dating a guy that is on the path to financial freedom. But there's everything wrong in dating a guy who's just cheap, stingy, gross.
I think it is fascinating when women try to shame men into overspending for nothing more than the chance to meet them. Apparently, many of them don't realize how easy it is for us to say no. So let me see if I can explain it to them, using just a simple research experiment and a little bit of basic psychology lingo. Why can a man be seemingly interested in a woman, enjoy the early texts and banter before meeting her, and then all of a sudden decide that he's out? How is it that he can look at a woman who seems objectively attractive, maybe she's accomplished and interested in him, and still not want to meet her? This baffles a lot of women. Their response is often, as we just saw, the usual. He's cheap, he's intimidated, he just wants to get laid, or some other nonsense. And sometimes that's true, yes, of course. But there's another answer that gets totally ignored by women. Here's the truth. Many men, especially the smart ones, are evaluating more than just her. They're looking ahead. They're asking what the relationship, or hell, even just the chance to meet her for the first time, will require of them, and whether she'll actually show enough reciprocity to make that risk worthwhile. And that's one difference between men and women in the dating pool. She may see the first meeting as a chance to find a serious partner, while you, on the other hand, see the same situation as maybe the beginning of a series of obligations, starting with, what's this going to cost me financially, right now? Now, I understand that most people don't consult a spreadsheet before the first date. Some do, I'm sure. I'm a total nerd, and I've been using spreadsheets and budgeting apps for my personal finances for several years, and I take it seriously. In fact, let me put this into a budgeting perspective from a 2002 research experiment. Instead of asking men and women what they wanted in a partner, they had this budget, and they had to purchase an ideal long-term mate by spending what they were allotted in that budget and deciding where to spend their limited points that they were given. So participants were all given the same limited budget and decided how much to spend to improve different traits in an ideal long-term partner. Potential partner traits were not assigned different values by the researchers. What they were looking for was where participants chose to spend their scarce points first. What's the first thing that they wanted? Now, this design forced people to make trade-offs, and across studies, results, you're not going to be surprised here, showed that men treated physical attractiveness as one of their early necessities, while women treated men's status and resources as an early necessity. Again, no shocker there, I'm sure. But it does provide the evidence, and it moves this from anecdotes to likely probability. Men and women place different levels of value on what a prospective partner is expected to bring to the relationship. And when men feel that they're being evaluated early on for what they can provide, saying no can be very easy, and a lot easier than women realize. Also, it's 2026 and women continue to snitch on themselves. So there's that. And let's not forget that guys learn from experience. If he's taken out 4 women in the past month and nothing's worked out, again, it gets real easy to start saying no. Even if he finds her attractive and charming, guys recognize a likely situation that they'd rather not repeat. And this is why when men say no, it confuses women. She's thinking, I think he likes me, and we seem to have chemistry. But there's a good chance that you and other guys are thinking, man, this is familiar. I can already see what she expects from me, and I don't think the potential loss is worth this early investment. Now, there's a psychological reason to help women understand this. Not that any of them are watching this, but if they are, this may help explain why men aren't taking you out. People are not driven only by what they might gain. They're also strongly influenced by what they might lose. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky call this loss aversion. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard of it. This explains that potential losses often weigh more heavily than comparable gains. Quite simply, the possibility of a bad outcome can be more influential than the possibility of a good one. So that date will definitely cost a guy $100 or more.
Stop dating cheap guys. Is he showing you the cheapest menu options saying that's the most delicious? Is he counting how many drinks you have? Is he not willing to send you an Uber?
And the more likely outcome of never seeing her again often outweighs the potential of anything ever coming of it. That's loss aversion. And this is especially true when the expectations are front-loaded and actually cost him something immediately, like first dates do. The more, or more often, a guy is expected to spend before he gets to a second date, the more likely he is to see dating as a high-cost gamble of sorts. And let's not forget, in the study that we mentioned just a moment ago, women prioritized men's provision. Again, no surprises, but when a choice feels like a wager for guys with a likely house win, saying no becomes easy to do. For a lot of women from the outside, this loss aversion may very well look like regular old avoidance. Those are the women that will conclude you're a cheap loser. But ladies, many times we're simply taking gains and losses seriously enough to consider whether you and your expectations are actually a good fit for us. In many ways, it's a simple cost-benefit analysis. And this is also why the phrase, if he wanted to, he would, is so misleading. It assumes, guys, that you don't want to take her out simply because you're a broke moron. But often the reality is that guys anticipate women's expectations and entitlement, and those are often more than guys are willing to pay for. So the lesson to men is to become more conscious of what saying yes means before you say it. Don't agree to a date just because she's a hottie. Weigh your potential gains and losses. Think of it like this. Rather than ask if she's hot enough to date, ask yourself, what will saying yes cost me? And what's the potential for immediate loss? And that's why guys can say no a lot more easily than women think. It's often because they finally learned to value themselves enough to recognize that the cost of yes is just way too high. So guys, give me your thoughts. I love it when I come across videos like this woman right here, and this is my response to them. Cheers, y'all. I'll see you soon.